Christopher Nolan has always been a filmmaker I have enjoyed, but not really been, a favorite of mine. I'm stuck between worlds with him. In many ways, he's a technical master of the craft. Every moment of his films are filled with so much technical prowess and intentionality that the teenage wannabe filmmaker still trapped in my soul is simply mesmerized by the cinematography, acting, and editing of his films. However, every film since After the Prestige has felt like it lacked a certain memorable style. Tenet is mind-bending fun, but the sound mixing was simply atrocious at multiple points. I get the love and adoration, but I also get the often accused contrarianism of others. Oppenheimer seemed to break this fence-sitting trend for me. I saw it with some friends for Barbenheimer, and I was simply floored by the stylistic choices in directing and editing. But this isn't a review of Oppenheimer, but rather what almost feels like a direct follow-up to that film. I found it immediately difficult to put into words what this movie made me feel. Some things from the Greek epic are adjusted and omitted, likely for time, but I almost wished for a 6-hour extended cut because I was so drawn into Nolan's vision of Mycenaean Greece. For a film entirely shot with IMAX cameras, it was impressively mobile, while also drawing back to show you the beautiful vistas captured on location. There were points, mainly in the third act, where I pumped my fist. For a deconstruction of the eponymous Greek hero, it still made sure to have you rooting for him. I don't want to get into spoilers since there are details to spoil, but this film is more of a lament than a celebration of the genius that opened the gates of Troy, turning a fight into a hunt. The decision to use plain language was a bold but wise move. I really realized what Nolan meant when he said he wanted language that had emotional, not intellectual meaning to people. The costuming, art design, and the like are more of a Hollywood concept of the Bronze Age, yeah, but it does feel like the purpose of this film wasn't supposed to be this extremely direct adaptation of Homer's twin epics. I mean, where are all the Anatolian, Ithacan, or Spartan actors? I am being a bit facetious. The casting decisions were talked about with the same ridiculously self-important and pretentious vitriol as the news Nolan was using Emily Wilson's translation as a source text. I found harsh critique for the art direction, source text choice even, to be a little reasonable. Some people who've read Herodotus more than I have played KOTOR prefer these details are right. It's why Civil War nerds like Gettysburg, or why my father loved Patton, the film. I am in fact not that type of Greek history nerd, but I get it. However, I could not for the life of me understand the shit fit people threw over casting decisions like Lupita Nyong'o, Travis Scott, and Elliot Page. The point of Helen is that she's so beautiful that it started a war, and with this film, it was essentially her point. Lupita is a gorgeous actress. The accusation that people are just being racist feels far more salient than the common Twitter woke scold rabble-rousing. The idea that she must be played by a white woman is laughable, since first, Troy was in Anatolia, not Central Europe. Second, Helen of Troy very likely didn't even exist. To demand another person's art look a certain way to satisfy some socio-political goals you hold is what these grifters accuse the left of doing for literal years. It is just an anti-art way to look at cinema. Elliot Page's role was rumored to be Achilles, which, contrary to the Mr. Bill version of events, died in the Iliad well before the Trojan horse strategy, and he doesn't even show up in this film. People were up in arms about a trans man playing a Mycenaean soldier, but on this first watch, the excellent and heartbreaking performance from Elliot as Sinon, whatever little screen time he had, made me forget that idiotic discourse immediately. On the subject of casting, every single actor in this film gave their absolute all. Anne Hathaway's Penelope guides you into feeling the desperation and utter hopelessness of Ithaca. Robert Pattinson's Antonius is so evil and conniving, and truly hateable. Hamish Patel was insanely impressive as Eurylochus. Samantha Morton as Circe, holy hell. The directing was incredible. In moments you're on a fantasy adventure, and then suddenly you're in a political thriller, and then a horror picture all within 20 minutes. The editing is so efficient and so careful, the film feels both as long as you want it, but quick enough that it respects your time. I learned after seeing the film that Nolan aimed to capture as much in camera as he possibly could, which you could really feel with the film. It almost had an old cinema feel to it, where moments that should be beyond reality feel incredibly real, tangible, and close. Seeing this film after Nolan expressed extreme skepticism of AI in film was downright cathartic. It's almost like an anti-tech bro movie. Everything feels handcrafted, carefully and intentionally picked. It doesn't play into some layman's idea of Odysseus the hero, but rather asks, what does his cunning mean? What is honor after honor has been destroyed? What of Zeus's law? Where, oh where, is the king of Ithaca?